Monday morning, Carly and Todd standing alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. President Trump offered the following solution for Gaza. It involves the United States.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Netanyahu appeared open to the idea.
President Trump is taking it to a much higher level. He sees a different future for that piece of land that has been the focus of so much terrorism, so many attacks against us, so many trials and so many tribulations. He has a different idea, and I think it's worth paying attention to this.
Last night, the following message was posted on the USAID website on Friday, February 7th, just before the stroke of midnight. All USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions. And the CIA guys also appears headed for big changes. The Wall Street Journal reporting the spy agency is also freezing the hiring of job seekers. Some are likely to be rescinded if the applicants don't have the right background for the agency's new goals, which also include Trump's trade war and undermining China. Now, here on Capitol Hill, this is Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr.'s nominations have cleared committees, head for a vote on the Senate floor. Last night, as you mentioned off the top, the Senate confirmed Trump's top pick to lead the Justice Department, Pam Bondi, for Attorney General, guys.
Guess what? Guess what? The times they are changed as we plunder USAID. A treasure returned to you from the deep state piggy bank. Guess what, guess what, guess what? Everything will be okay. Guess what day it is? It's hump day. Get it on. Hump day. Woo. Woo, woo.
Oh man, guys. You know, I want to start hump day off the right way and be so optimistic and happy and cheerful, but I have bad news for you today, Wednesday, February 5th, 2025. I lost my job. I did. I lost my job. I was on my USAID mission in Syria teaching Hamas and ISIS how to properly gender their trans goat herds. And USAID cut my funding. I was making $5.7 billion a year. Sucks, you know? Sucks. I was this close to getting ready to go to Afghanistan to go teach the Taliban about DEI. You know, they're not very diverse over there. The Taliban doesn't know that diversity is our strength. And they still have gendered bathrooms in Kabul. Did you know this? So I was going to go change all of the Taliban tribal leaders' names to Z and Zer pronouns, and all of the bathrooms in Kabul to be non-binary. But USAID cut my funding. That was going to be another $7.9 billion that I was going to make doing that mission of service for the taxpayer. And USAID cut my funding. And so I'm just really upset about it. And just so, you know, I got nothing left. It's just you and me now, right? And find me at Substack, okay? You can find me on my Substack. And if you need any pronoun training, then, you know, you can find me on LinkedIn too, right? Currently actively looking, okay, for positions for these very valuable skill sets that I have. Oh, the trans goats! Who will teach young Muhammad not to dead name the goat? ladies and gentlemen. Oh, baby, what an exciting day to be living in America right now. The madness has ended. It's like a fever that broke on our country. The madness is ending. And now you are going to watch the absolute collapse of a fake world that was built by your taxpayer dollars, by corrupt people that wanted to destabilize your country, your morals, your nation. And it is glorious, ladies and gentlemen. More purges underway at the FBI, CIA, and USAID. Do you know late last night that Donald Trump effectively fired every CIA agent? Whew. Oh, that's going to be spicy. And they brought the USAID website back just in time to tell everyone they're fired too. Oh, it's glorious. We're going to cover all of it today. Trump also announces that we're going to be creating Gaza Largo, Mara Gaza. I don't really know. Apparently, the United States is going to take over Gaza Strip, build a giant golf course there. It's going to be great. Really exciting. Get your birthday plans ready. We're all going raging in Gaza, okay? I don't know about all of that, but we'll cover it on the program today. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna joins the show. All-time favorite for us. So many interesting things to talk about with her. She has a massive bombshell announcement that she will be making on the program today that is going to, I think, get you very, very excited, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, lock freaking in. Your front seat to the golden era starts right now. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. American Financing are the people who make sure that you can get out of debt. They are friends of the program, and they are friends of you having financial freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, we've all had quite a few financial problems over the last 4 years. We're going to cover quite a few of them and explain why multiple large left-wing media outlets are going to be going out of business. Oh, you're going to just love our first story. But ladies and gentlemen, those are the kind of financial problems you have. Obviously, inflation and the cost of living has spiraled out of control. Call my friends at American Financing today to get out of debt. American Financing's salary-based mortgage consultants can help home buyers like you tap into your home's equity and save. You can save up to $800 a month by doing this. Ladies and gentlemen, these decisions are made pretty easily with a 10-minute, no-obligation phone call to American Financing today. Call American Financing today at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219, AmericanFinancing.net/Benny, NMLS 182334, and MLSConsumerAccess.org. All right, I want to start with a laugh because, I lost my job training, trans goat herders or whatever. I want to start off with a laugh. There is a absolute, total, psychotic breakdown that is happening on the left. It's so funny, in fact, that CNN is laughing at them live on their airwaves. And I want you, it's hump day today. It's Wednesday. Everyone's getting through the week, right? Everyone's got a mortgage to pay. And so I want to start off our day with a little joy and happiness and laughter at the deeply sad capacity that Democrats have to try and coalesce and create some type of counter messaging to what Trump is doing. Now, what Trump is doing right now is shock and awe campaign. This shock and awe campaign is being staged in order to ensure that they have no funding, that their news outlets get gutted. We're going to cover that in just a second. That their little kitty banks, piggy banks, right? Their golden gooses get slaughtered. That they have no capacity to properly organize. And instead of Democrats walking through the wide open door of, wow, the federal government was spending too much money. We agree. It's time for us to cut costs to save the taxpayer money. That's the easiest thing you could do right now. A Democrat win would be literally just taking the logical, easy path out, which is, you know what? You're right. Government spending's gotten out of control. All the data shows that. Everybody can feel that. And we're going to join Republicans in common sense cutting of expenditures. That's so simple. Democrats that do that end up winning a majority soon, right? Please don't take my advice here, because you'd probably end up winning in 2026, right? During the midterms. If you just if you just plowed the road, okay, and said, yeah, we'll go along, like, look, we joined with Trump to cut all of these expenditures. That's what's popular right now. Instead of doing that, every Democrat decided to take out a giant hammer, smash themselves as hard as they could in the head, and start frothing at the mouth and say, like, start screaming the name Elon Musk. Elon Musk! That's all they're doing. Democrats are angry that Elon Musk's shadow government is dismantling their shadow government. That's what they're raging about. They're furious about the loss of their shadow Only we can have an unelected shadow government bureaucracy that exists forever to torture and disrupt and destabilize the American people. Only we can fund news outlets with the tax dollars to attack our political enemies. Only we can fund schools in Nigeria and ports in Haiti and actually embezzle all that money and give it to our friends, our donors, and ourselves. Only we have that right. Now that Republicans are ending it, we're very upset. Oh, they're so upset, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get into exactly what the actual game was here, but it's pretty simple. There's a bunch of libs, okay? Every Democrat leader in Congress, which is really funny at the quality of the actual leaders in Congress for Democrats, gathered in front of the USAID building in Washington, D.C. And they started screaming like lunatics. And it's because of something very true that we have uncovered here on this program and the enormous amount of research that we've done on this issue over the past week, right? Since it's been bubbling up in the news cycle, we want to do our job to tell you exactly what USAID is. And it's very simple. USAID isn't real. It's fake. It's not actually a thing. USAID never built anything for anyone. They never provided aid for anyone. USAID was a money laundering scam to take your cash out of your pocket, your taxpayer dollars, and to funnel it into left-wing activist causes that give Democrats permanent power. And we're going to dive into a very specific issue this morning with a massive story that we broke about Politico getting taxpayer dollars through USAID. Why would USAID, presumably a foreign-facing government entity to do humanitarian work, schools in Nigeria, vaccines for kids in Uganda, right? Why would they be funding Politico? Exactly. Why would they be funding left-wing media? Oh, how deep does the rabbit hole go? This is why Democrats are angry. They're angry because Trump kicked in their door and snapped the neck of their golden goose. This was who was going to fund the protests against Trump. This is who was going to fund all of the campaigns to elect Democrats. You ever seen those people standing around at the mall or inside of like a pedestrian walking area with these stupid shirts on with some dumb name like Protect Democracy Now, right? With the clipboards, right? Effing clipboards. Excuse me, sir. Nose ring, purple hair, blue hair, right? Brown teeth. Zits. You're 31. Why do you have zits? Anyway, they're always, breathing on you. The breath smells like dog food. Hey, sir, do you have a moment for the trans goats in Afghanistan? Right? And they're always like breathing on. How do you think's paying that person's salary? What do you think that person does? What service do they provide? What value do they provide for the country? That name and that signature goes directly into a Democrat database for electioneering. And you know what you should always say to those people? It's something I always say to those people. Sorry, I'm ranting a little too much here, but it's too much fun. Something you should always say to those people. You walk right up to them. I always take a beeline right to them. Don't avoid them. Go straight up to them. Lock them right in the eye. I want eye contact. I want heavy eye contact. Look them right in the eye, okay? And you see their little eye twitching, right? Their little piercing going up and down. You look them right in the eye and you go, I already voted for Trump. You don't have to convince and then just let the long silence stretch out before you, and then walk away, right? And do that. That'll shake them to their core. They will return to their mother's basement, get onto Reddit, and start sobbing and never go back to work. Do that. That's what you should do to those people. The point is that someone's paying them. And who is paying them is you, which is so effed up. You and me were the ones footing the bill for all of this degenerate, perverted, left-wing activism that funds Democrats and puts all this cash into their coffers and creates literal fake news. Again, we're going to jump right into that in just a second. That's why Democrats are freaking out. I just feel like it's worth establishing the reason that Democrats are freaking out is not because they care about Nigerian schoolgirls, okay? That's not what USAID was doing. USAID was funding all their campaigns. It was creating a news media ecosystem that was fake and fraudulent to protect them. It was placing literal reporters inside of the Biden administration that they paid for, placing reporters in there to do mop-up jobs for the administration, the regime, and so many other things. Everyone was getting a cut. What Trump has done is he has done what you do inside of a prison in order to exert dominance. Donald Trump coming back into the White House walked right up in the prison yard. Okay, it's considered the federal government like a giant prison yard full of criminals. It is. Full of very dangerous and bad people. President Trump walks right up to the biggest, meanest, angriest mass murderer in the prison yard and punches him in the face and breaks his nose and blood shoots everywhere. And this huge hulking beast of a monster goes and then everyone in the prison yard sees it and is like, holy shit, whoa, fuck. That guy, don't mess with that guy, right? And then that big prisoner becomes the bitch. And that's how Trump wins. And that was Trump's plan. How was Trump going to conceivably get what he wanted to get done and make good on his promises to the American people, to all of us? How was he going to do that with an entire fifth column of unelected, psychotic, psyoped, literal like CIA lizard people planted throughout his government to stop him at every turn? Something incredible that Elon Musk posted this today. He said, you know, somebody goes like, why are you going after USAID so hard? You know, there's a lot of bad things in the government. A lot of bad things happening in the government. And Elon goes, all we did was we just sat and watched who defied Trump's executive orders first and the most. To paraphrase Elon, production team's grabbing it right now. Sorry, I'm just on a rant. I'm having too much fun. This is like too much fun. These are the best couple weeks of my life. It's the best couple weeks of your life, best couple weeks of my life, okay? We're just going to have fun with it. We need to laugh again. Laugh again as a country, okay? Elon Musk goes, listen, what we did was so Trump did hundreds of executive orders, and we sat back and we let them tell on themselves. We sat back and we said, okay, who's going to be the first ones to defy Trump? You'll be able to see the problem. How do you know where you're infected? Because when you push on it, when you push on the area that's infected, it hurts. It's painful. So all we did at Doge, now I'm quoting correctly Elon Musk here, was check in to see which federal organizations were violating Donald Trump's executive orders the most. Turn out USAID. So that's what became our focus. Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. It's so beautiful. Ah, the ranting and raving is worth it, ladies and gentlemen, to get to this beautiful point here in the show where I can finally show you this amazing clip. I'm sorry for the I'm just having too much fun. Here we go. Here's the clip. This is what Democrats now are putting up. I wanted to get to why. Why are they so angry? I had to get to like to this point. Why are they so angry? And why does this look so weak? Why does this look so pathetic? Why are the news? Yeah, exactly. Why is the corporate media literally laughing their asses off at these people? Because they have no more funding. This is what you're going to see Democrats with no makeup, okay? Last 4 years, Democrats had been that like hideous chick who is a 2. But with the amount of federal funding that they got and the amount of corrupt, laundered federal dollars, they could get enough makeup through the makeup shotgun onto their face that in bar lighting, with just like the flickering Bud Light sign, okay, they look like a 6. And then you wake up in the morning and you look at it and you're like, ha! Whoa! Call my doctor. Quick! I gotta be like the Uber Eats driver. Get out of here! This is what Democrats look like without makeup. The makeup of federal funding. Here we go.
Democrats agree that Musk is a problem, but listen to them today, and they have a piñata in search of a stick.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
We have days to stop the destruction of our democracy. We have work to do. Tell Elon Musk to take his hands off your money. We don't pledge allegiance to the creepy 22-year-olds working for Elon Musk. We pledge allegiance to the United States of America.
And goddamn it, shut down the city! We are at war!
We will win! We will win! We won't rest! We won't rest!
Gretchen.
Yes,
So,
the Democrats need a real leader, okay? They need a real leader, which currently does not exist in the Democratic Party. And they have been caught completely flat-footed with the entire Trump presidency for the last 2 weeks and Elon Musk. I said on CNN months ago that Elon Musk would be the most influential advisor to President Trump, and that is proving to be true, whether you like it or not. But Democrats should have had a plan for this. They knew it was coming. We say this every single night.
2025,
we knew it.
Just talked about.
We knew it. Trump has said all of these things were going to happen. We saw him align with Elon Musk, which may go down as the smartest thing that any presidential candidate has ever done, from the young vote to tech to a million other things. So Democrats needed to have a plan, and it may be too late.
Yeah, Bakari, are you fired up after seeing
I'm fired up and ready to go. Can't you see it in my face?
Oh, delicious, your tears. So salty. Bakari Sellers, of course, like the, Democrat simp who has to go on CNN and do these humiliation rituals, right? Of how embarrassing this all is. It's so embarrassing. There's so many clips from yesterday. So embarrassing. This is the makeup shotgun. I love this. This is what I'm talking about with the makeup shotgun. Democrats have lost their makeup shotgun. They're no longer a fake 6. They're a 2. They were born a 2. They'll remain a 2. And the older they get, they turn into a 1 and then a 0, which is where Chuck Schumer is. Here's a longer take on Chuck Schumer. Did you hear the giggle? Did you hear the snort laughing? Like the jumpstart snort laughing on CNN? Have you ever heard that before on a CNN panel where every CNN panelist is cracking up over how cringe Democrats are right now? How they have no more capacity to even put up like a front? Like, what are you gonna do about this? You got no power. But Chuck Schumer, man, he's got something going on. Here you go.
I'm gonna stand with you in this fight, and we will win.
We will win.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Leader Schumer.
So many places to go with this. Okay, first off, the Batman villain guy with like the cane in there. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest. It's like, listen, first off, what it seems like you're doing here is like activity hour at the nursing home got out of hand. Somebody put something in the, something sprinkled something in the applesauce, right? During activity hour at the nursing home. With your cane. Okay? He looks like a bad Batman villain. And he behaves like one. Here's Al Green. It's the same guy. Okay? It's the same guy who seconds ago inside of the House, as a member of Congress, freaking Geico caveman over here. This is Batman, original Batman 1960s comic book villain. Says he is now impeaching Trump. Get ready. These guys are impeaching Trump. Get ready. Here comes the impeachment again for Trump.
I rise to announce that the movement to impeach the president has begun. I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed and dastardly deeds done. I also rise to say that the impeachment movement is going to be a grass-up movement, not a top-down. The people have got to move forward. The people.
All right, enough. Grass up, smoking grass is what this. It's dastard. Donald Trump's dastardly deeds. I can't take it anymore. This guy is like foghorn leghorn. God, I said, boy, you dastardly deeds. You can't do more dastardly deeds. Oh, what a clown car! These people, dastardly deeds. Also, Chuck Schumer ruining his own chant. Okay, Chuck Schumer started with a "We will win" chant, and then just decided immediately, once you get the crowd chanting that, to switch it up, right? We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. Like that's not how you do a chant. You start the chant and you get people chanting. You get a chant going. Okay? You ever been to a sports arena? You ever been anywhere? Like anything? Have you ever, interacted with any human ever? Chuck Schumer puts the cheese on the meat before it's grilled. He literally puts the cheese on the salmonella meat. Chuck Schumer. This is how spaced out this dude is. Okay? So he doesn't know how to do the chant. And you'd be like, oh, Chuck, you're like a million years old. Maybe this is something that's wrong with you. But then you can go back into history and see that not too long ago, this is Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer puts the cheese on the raw, uncooked beef. It's Chuck Schumer with the uncooked beef. This is the guy who's in charge of the Democrat Party right now. This guy is effectively completely in charge of the Democrat Party. Obama's lost all of his donors. Huge donors are fleeing Obama. Obama can't even complete his own library now. Obama's library is crumbling before it even opens. Here's Chuck Schumer. This is the guy in charge. This guy is about to give everybody in his household explosive diarrhea, explosive vomiting, salmonella. All the criminal illegal aliens that he's housing in his home from Haiti are gonna get on their boats and go back to Haiti after eating this. This is Chuck Schumer is gonna He's going to literally give everyone just absolutely explosive salmonella all over his house. Look at how sick this guy is. This is the genius in charge of the Democrat Party right now. The only other genius that you could potentially argue has any type of like sway in the party is Kamala Harris. And she did the exact same thing with her chants. Kamala Harris can't do a chant. We learned this in 2024. Here we go.
Let's vote. Let's get out the 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 vote. Let's win.
She did it again. She won another time. One other time. Just one. This is when Kamala Harris decided to do an event with Beyonce instead of go on the Joe Rogan podcast. This was in Houston. And so there's all these people that they paid to be there, probably through USAID taxpayer dollars. They paid to be there, and Beyonce was supposed to sing, so they literally rug pulled all these people. There were already riots breaking out, okay? So you have this like low IQ Houston like crowd already kind of like packed into this stadium. Low IQ ghetto Houston crowd that's like already furious. They're enraged. They're on like 7 Four Locos deep. And they're all like so enraged, like hitting their pink vape pens as hard as possible, that like Kamala rug pulled them. Beyonce didn't sing. And then Beyonce then decides to like lead them in this chant as the final insult to their depressing, pointless lives. Kamala Harris decides to go, oh, okay, here, I got a chant for you. Instead of Beyonce, a free Beyonce concert, which we thought you were going to get, here, I'm going to lead you in a chant, okay? Here's your prize.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us. And listen, I have fought my whole career to put the people first.
I got to stop. I got to keep moving, okay? We have an entire show to do. We have serious things to talk about here. All right, this is a serious show. We have real news to talk about. We broke real news today. Elon Musk reposted us like a couple times. Like, we have real news, okay, to talk about over the last 24 hours. So I'm sorry. I'm just having too much fun. I'm having too much fun. Ladies and gentlemen, Politico and the New York Times may be going out of business. And the only thing stopping that from happening is a Foghorn Leghorn Batman villain and a guy who can't like do a chant or grill a burger. And I've never been more encouraged, ladies and gentlemen. Let's begin here. Politico and New York Times propped up by millions of dollars from the U.S. government. Well, would you look at that? On Tuesday, staffers at Politico were notified that a technical error prevented their paychecks from going out. Would you look at that? Wow, Politico going bankrupt? Journos crying and seething? Guy can only get so excited. Staff at Politico did not get paid for the latest pay period. Company just sent several emails to employees saying that this is a technical issue. Don't you worry, we're going to fix it. We promise. But if you go ahead and look a little deeper into what's been happening at Politico, you'll find, according to usaspending.gov, a government website that tracks such things, that Politico has been paid millions of dollars, potentially tens of millions of dollars, depending on how you do the math. Politico received up to $27 million, by some counts $32 million, from various U.S. agencies during the Biden years. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Let's go ahead and look here exactly. What are these, what exactly are these payments? Oh, wow. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. from various recipients all throughout the federal government, from various payees all throughout the federal government, Politico being the recipient. I found 27, let's go down to the last one, please. Right here, yeah. Let's go to that chart. There you go. Here's $27 million being paid to Politico. Would you look at that? Why would Politico be the recipient of so much federal money? And now they can't pay their staff as soon as Elon Musk ends USAID. I posted this on X right before the show. This is the biggest scandal in news media history. No employee at Politico got paid. First time the company's ever missed payroll. Now we learn that Politico, a news company, which spent the last 10 years trying to destroy the MAGA movement, being massively funded by USAID, among many other government organs. But this, I think, is very instructive. Let's go ahead and zip on down to the graph here, Klein. The graph attached to the tweet, thank you. There it is, yeah, please. You'll notice that over the last 2 decades, Politico didn't really take much government money. A de minimis amount, just little pittances here and there, just little tin pot, coins in the jar, right? But then something incredible happened in the year 2019 to 2020. Politico suddenly started getting hundreds of thousands and then millions of dollars from the federal government. What's that about exactly? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we just did a little research of our own. We were able to find something very special that happened between the years 2019 and 2020 when President Trump was running for re-election. Politico was the outlet that decided to launder the deep state fake news about Hunter Biden's laptop. An important note here that the FBI has not only admitted that the laptop was totally real, they've used it in criminal proceedings against the Bidens. Everybody knew who signed this letter that this laptop was real, but they needed an outlet to carry their bullshit story. Sorry for the cursing. This story is fake. It's not real. But it had a real intended consequence, which was, and as we know, and ALX knows personally, you got to censor anybody who talked about the laptop. Our account got censored. We got tweets ripped down, posts ripped down about it. Reporters had to grovel for mercy. As soon as this article got published, and ALX, I don't know if you can find the John Brennan email. I think that'd be amazing to put up right now. There's this John Brennan email, I think between Michael Hayden and John Brennan, where they straight up say that this article was published in order to elect Joe Biden. They know it's fake. There's a flaming literal receipt where John Brennan in writing is saying, "Yo, yeah, add my name to it." And they're saying we're doing this in order to elect Joe Biden, to give him something to use at the debate against Trump when he brings this up. This true thing that we all know is true because we've all Googled the laptop ourselves. There it is. Here's the actual literal evidence right here. Let me read it to you in part, ladies and gentlemen. John Brennan is writing Michael Morell, who is the former CIA director, saying, "Can I add your name to the list? We'll be adding Leon Panetta, Sue Gordon, Jed Johnson, Lisa Monaco, pretty much an entire list of deep state criminals who deserve to be in Guantanamo Bay. Also working with blah, 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 other people. Lots of lots of intelligent community career folks trying to get, look at the last line, trying to give the campaign, particularly during this debate on Thursday, talking points to punch back at Trump over the laptop." There's the freaking evidence right here that they knew this was garbage, they knew it was fake, and who did they go to? They went to Politico, little urchins at Politico. And Politico dutifully wrote it up. This article was everywhere, was used to damn near take down our entire show. All of our tweets came down. Twitter took all of our tweets down about this. This timeline was crazy. ALX knows. He was around for this. So was producer Danny. All of our posts came down. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, suddenly all set. You couldn't talk about Hunter Biden laptop at all. This was a weapon that was launched through Politico, and Politico got paid back for it. And you can now see. You can see the receipts. And now Politico's going out of business. Now they've cut off the Fed gravy train. The reason why this is important, and while this might be a de minimis amount that's spent because USAID squanders billions, but what this proves is that the federal government's paying for fake news propaganda to disorient, disrupt, to lie to you, to rig elections, which is what this was. And you can see here that the huge water spigot, the fire hydrant of federal funds, corrupt federal funds, just was opened wide as soon as they did the deep state's bidding. And now look at what happens in 2025, crashing down to earth, and Politico can't pay their salaries. Oh. No tears from me, ladies and gentlemen. USAID, you'll be happy to know, is funding a lot of different news companies. Was. Here we go. USAID funding the New York Times, right here. The New York Times, $3.1 million. Politico, $32 million. The BBC, oh my. The BBC was getting, this is British corporate, this is British government TV, okay? So the BBC, they're just like out with it. They're like, no, this is government TV, right? You're forced to consume government propaganda. USAID was funding government propaganda. There's one other exciting and really funny tie-in here about the Brits. Somebody who is now living in Great Britain, much like you retreat, right? You like when everything is collapsing, you retreat into your like your last bastion. In the UK, there is like a true censorship regime. It's like the last place that it exists, like the last little nexus that they have of like the censorship epicenter and epoch is there inside of the United Kingdom, inside of this corrupted, rotted, old world. America is going to have to go save and liberate Great Britain. Isn't that not an amazing irony? After 250 years, our sesquicentennial will be in like a year. So after 250 years of existence, it'll be America that will go and save and liberate the United Kingdom and England. Isn't that something else? England is a fallen country. It doesn't really, like, frankly, exist anymore. And Nina Jankowicz, the urchin who was being paid by our federal government to create a censorship industrial complex inside of the Department of Homeland Security here. Somebody known as Censorship Mary Poppins, because she actually sang a Mary Poppins tune. I'll play it for you in a moment. Sorry, I do love you, okay? Shout out to the chat. I do love you. I'm so sorry I have to do this to you. I'm giving you fair warning to mute your devices, maybe, okay? Or if you're just into this kind of stuff, if you're into abuse, well, get ready for a Censorship Mary Poppins. Nina Jankowicz, you might recall, is an individual who was tasked with creating and spawning a censorship industrial complex here in America. Now, this show and many others called her out and went on the offensive and got her fired, okay? We created enough problems for her that she was fired and they shut down. What was it called? Government Accountability Center or something like that, right? Well, she then crawled on her belly, little reptile, over to start something else. A new little center. Do we have, Alex, you have the new center. I know that Mark Andreessen's, oh, there it is. Okay, we have it right there. Here we go. New disinformation project in London. Would you look at that? Called the Center for Information Resilience. Are you funded by any governments? Yes, we receive grants from USAID and the State Department. These people, they're literal cockroaches. Well, they've been crushed now by Elon Musk. Elon Musk has flipped on the lights in the kitchen and has stomped them all. He's wearing Doc Martens, the like really big kind, and he's like going on a cockroach stomping festival. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nina Jenkowicz's new scam to try and keep the censorship industrial complex alive. Just got the entire plug pulled on it. Politico in flames, New York Times, BBC, the Center for Information Resilience. What the fuck? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Oh, we're here to fight disinformation. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what that means. This means there's a flip that can be switched by our CIA to censor you and me and anybody that they find inconvenient. And they use these little centers that they fund to do it. They create little reports on how evil and mean we all are. How mean the chat is right now. Oh, wow. They said something mean. You better eliminate their channels entirely. That's what this is all about. And Elon Musk just crushed them. And Trump. Ooh. Let me tell you what. Mary Poppins is singing her sad song tonight. Here's what she was sounding like just a year or two ago before we destroyed her career.
Wandering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain. They're laundering disinfo and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origin seems slightly less atrocious.
Enough. Okay. And they called J.D. Vance weird. We've said for a long time that what the modern day Democrat Party is a bunch of eunuch theater kids who are like living out their dreams of punishing the jocks, punishing the kids who shoved them into lockers in high school, who gave them wedgies, who made fun of them, the successful people who like built things like Trump, or who were like really smart and like good at life, like Elon. Like Elon's just good at life. Okay, sure, he's on the spectrum. Like that's what makes him good at it. These kids aren't on the spectrum, nor are they good at anything. So they live inside these like fake little theater kid worlds because they can't stand reality, which is created by alphas and people who build things and create things, add value to society. They add zero value. They are net negative value creators. And then they do this. What they've done over the past 40 years in this country is they have stolen the creations and the value of this nation. They've weaponized it against the productive class, us, you and me, who actually do things. And then they sing little songs like this to mock us, censor us, and rip us offline when we say things they don't like. Much like, if given the opportunity, these sadistic little theater kids, if they could punch a button and cause pain to all the jocks in school, they would. Do you not think that these little theater kids are getting bullied? Do you not think that if they could push a button and close the mouth of every kid they don't like in school, they would? Little censorious little bastards. Like, do you not think they would do that? They would. Of course they would do that. That's what this is all about. It's funny, like the more you live it, the more you realize like the kind of the tropes and the iconography of high school, the verticals of high school just kind of like play out in the real world. All right, the nerds are nerds, but they're doing things. And the jocks are jocks. Okay, they're like kind of like Trump. Okay, Trump was a jock. Trump was an athlete in high school, baseball, wrestling, football, and the theater kids are like deeply creepy. And they have like they harbor darkness in their hearts, and they have mendacity there. Nothing against theater kids. Whatever. I'll take. Nothing against the. It's like I'm just saying the verticals play out. All right, that's all. And you don't want to give the theater kids power, like godlike powers over everyone. It'll end terribly for all of us. And that's what's happened with our federal government. Taking the freaks, the losers, the real lunatics, the mentally unstable people who have to live in a fake world, you've given them all this power over the rest of us. And you're seeing the dying gasps of all of that. This is what you see. This is what you see in this is what you see in Chuck Schumer, right? We will win. This is what you see. Oh man, the meltdowns have been just freaking delicious. Here's the notice, ladies and gentlemen, from USAID. They've turned back on USAID, and I don't know if we can go to. Can we go to the URL? Here's what it is. They've turned back on USAID. Good news. Okay, good news, theater kids. All USAID.gov is back. Bad news. You're fired. On Friday, February 7th, 2025, at 11:59 p.m., all USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, with the exception of designated personnel responsible for mission-critical functions, core leadership, and specifically designated program. Essential personnel expected to continue working will be informed by the agency leadership on Thursday. For USAID personnel currently posted outside of the United States, the agency is coordinating with missions, and the Department of State, currently preparing to plan in accordance with applicable requirements and laws under agency, would arrange to pay for the return to travel to the United States within 30 days and provide a termination of your contract. So they're bringing back everyone who's abroad, right? And then they're firing them all. Oh, they're losing their minds. Oh, they're all losing their minds. So many libs spawned out of this. Liz Cheney spawned out of USAID. AOC spawned out of USAID. Mika Brzezinski losing her mind. ALX, is this a salty lib? Is this big enough for a salty lib? Should we salt the lib here with Mika? How long? No? Okay, all right. ALX says no. Wait for the real salty ones. Okay, here we go. Morning Joe, salt in their coffee.
Official memo says nearly the entire global workforce of USAID will be placed on administrative leave by Friday. The online posting says there would be exceptions for people responsible for mission-critical functions. This comes after the agency's acting chief human capital officer was pushed out for refusing to place employees on leave yesterday. So the memo came from Pete Morocco, who Secretary of State Marco Rubio empowered to review the work done by USAID. Morocco held several national security positions during the first Trump administration, including at the agency, but multiple sources tell NBC News he was ultimately pushed out of office. Online sleuths have also identified Morocco as being among the rioters who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. Legal experts say the president does not have authority to abolish a federal agency created by Congress. But in a letter to lawmakers, Secretary Rubio cited a law requiring the executive branch notify and consult with Congress on any proposed reorganization, which could signal a potential loophole.
The panic and the freak out is real. The panic and the freak out, of course, is happening because all these lib media outlets were funded by USAID. They're losing their gravy train. They're losing their federal dollars. Watch out. Get ready. How many media outlets will go bankrupt? Watch this space in the next 30 days. You'll be able to tell which media outlets were fed propaganda psyop outlets. The ones that go bankrupt were the ones who were on the take, who were getting paid for fake news by the federal government through USAID and other nefarious programs. All right, such an exciting time to be alive. Everything from the FBI to the CIA getting absolutely obliterated. CIA was sent resignation letters by Trump, every single employee at the CIA. And Elon Musk has stormed into the FBI, causing great fear and consternation. Ladies and gentlemen, we just played you a clip from Morning Joe. Certainly in our cup every single morning is our blackout coffee. Oh, man. To cover all this news cycle, you've got to have your caffeine pouring through your bloodstream. We have been up late at night and early in the morning just trying to keep up. And apparently this pace is going to continue for all 4 years. J.D. Vance told reporters yesterday that Donald Trump asks, how many more days do I have in office? He's 2 weeks in. He keeps asking, like, wait, how many more days do we have? This pace will continue for 4 straight years. Get ready, libs. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, libs may not drink blackout coffee, but I certainly do. Blackout coffee is what powers me on this program. We have a little extra pep in our step this morning. I'm drinking drink my whole pot. I do typically go through a pot. It's so good. It is good, ladies and gentlemen. But you're also funding an American company, a patriotic company, a company that doesn't have to raise its prices because of what's happening in Colombia or Panama or whatever. A company that loves this nation, supports first responders and our military veterans. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny and use a coupon code Benny for 20% off your first order. Taste the coffee that doesn't just wake you up, it fires you up. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Benny. Let's freaking go. Let's go, baby. CIA buyouts. See, every single member of the CIA was offered a get out of jail free card. Take the money and run yesterday by Donald Trump. How exciting this moment is. Like, this really is President Trump, like, going up in the prison yard and punching the meanest, scariest prisoner in the face, blooding his nose, and saying, you're mine now. Let's go.
Fox News alert. The Wall Street Journal is reporting the CIA has reportedly just offered a buyout to its entire workforce. Everyone in the agencies telling employees late today they can quit their jobs and receive about 8 months of pay and benefits. It's a part of Trump's push to downsize the federal government. More as we get it.
In case you're wondering what news cycle you should be happy about, just go ahead and check in on CNN. What are they crying over on CNN? CNN is losing their loving damned minds on the CIA buyouts happening right now. Here we go.
Is Donald Trump about to put all of America's spies out of work? A CIA spokesperson and sources familiar telling CNN tonight that the agency's entire workforce received buyout offers today. How does this work?
This is exactly what Project 2025 said.
Oh, no, not the Project 2025 talking
As much as we talked about on all these shows for months that Donald Trump said he knew nothing about Project 2025 and he didn't adhere to it, and even though everyone that drew it up worked for him, this is exactly, I went back and looked at Project 2025 tonight. Eliminate up to 1 million federal jobs. Cut federal...
We had a tweet that went viral like in the hours after the election. It was like something like, gotcha. 2025, Project 2025 was real. It was real the whole time. Get ready, lib, right? Get ready to go to Gitmo. And little did we know how right we were. CIA. Intel sources that we spoke with over the last 24 hours told us that the reason why this is happening is because the CIA was the spawn point for so many of the fake hoaxes against President Trump. Everything from Russiagate to what we covered earlier about the Hunter Biden laptop. All of those people were CIA cretins that signed that letter. It all was funneled through former CIA heads. These people are deeply corrupt to their core. The CIA and USAID as it's cut out. USAID doing the dirty work that even the CIA won't do. And they have no presidential oversight at USAID, right? They have no direct report to the president. That's changing. But this is the heart of darkness. The FBI, which has seen enormous numbers of purges and more yesterday, purge begins as Doge storms FBI to obtain the names of 5,000 agents who worked January 6 cases facing firings. 5,000 agents. We pulled the records. You know, there's only 13,000 FBI agents. So you're talking close to half of all FBI agents slithered, crawled, and begged to go run J6 ops for Joe Biden. It just shows you the corruption, the rank corruption And ladies and gentlemen, breaking news here before we get to the great Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna, who will join us in just moments. Pam Bondi, another great Florida woman, was just sworn in as your new Attorney General. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi. Here's a photo of Pam getting sworn in at the White House by Clarence Thomas. Freaking awesome. Donald Trump there as well. And Pam Bondi speaking then, very shortly afterward. Ooh, it's a thing of beauty, baby. Here's Pam Bondi explaining what she will do as the top law enforcement official in this country.
I will restore integrity to the Justice Department, and I will fight violent crime throughout this country and throughout this world and make America safe again. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Donald Trump with the Publishers Clearinghouse check. I don't know what that's like. Pam Bondi's first paycheck. This giant thing. Oh man, we have such an epic Pam Bondi meme. Man, maybe we'll play it for Anna Paulina Luna. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna will join the show, ladies and gentlemen, right now. And let's load up that Pam Bondi meme. Okay, we have such a great. The name's Bond. Pam Bondi. Exciting time. Joining me now, another great Florida woman, Anna Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, you join us at the what seems to be maybe the apex of the American experience. I just don't think I've ever experienced a better 3 weeks of my life. And you were regularly on the program warning us that this would be epic, but I wasn't prepared. I'm sorry, I didn't listen to you.
It's a whole lot better than what it was when I first got elected, that's for sure. We're here for, I actually just left the oversight hearing where you saw that meltdown just occur on Elon. So it's been quite interesting. There's Elon derangement syndrome here in Washington.
Let's go ahead and grab that, boys, if we can, if there is a proper meltdown. Can you explain to us what happened, and then we can jump into Doge and some of its work?
You know, we've had now this new Congress for the last 3 weeks, basically a month now, and all Democrats seem to be focusing on is not what President Trump is doing for the American people or how we're actually winning wars, these quote unquote trade wars against other countries, actually bringing these countries to their needs and making our country a better place. But what they're really focusing on is Elon, and so you're seeing them constantly. I think yesterday there was protests on the Hill on Elon. It seems like every single day I'm hearing Elon's name in some capacity. And so I really hope these people can get serious and get back to work, because it's pretty wild to watch.
They're really angry that Elon's shadow government is dismantling their shadow government. They're so upset about it.
You know what's so crazy, though, is when you actually look at what Doge is doing, all they're doing is basically showing actual taxpayer-funded receipts for programs that were completely unacceptable that we were even funding in the first place, and yet somehow he's now the biggest boogeyman they've ever seen. I would argue, though, no one ever complains about George Soros really engineering world governments and really backing a lot of these Democrats, and yet they're supposed to be painting Elon Musk as the boogeyman. So it's really hypocritical.
It's an unbelievable cringe fest, and we've been playing some of the. Can you just pop it up as B-roll? Some of your colleagues having menopausal, hysterical, truly medicated meltdowns about Elon Musk. This is the cause majeure for them. Like, this is it. Like, they're saying they're going to burn down in these clips. Congresswoman, they say they're going to burn down the city. This is time to shut down all of Washington D.C. and burn it all down because of Elon Musk. I thought they loved immigrants. You're right. Yeah. I thought they loved African Americans.
It's pretty crazy to see. A lot of these people, again, they're siloed in this DC bubble. But when you go and talk to normal Americans, remember, President Trump just didn't win the Electoral College. He won the popular vote. That means that people across every race, color, and creed, and also socioeconomic status, really voted for him to be president. And they love the message that he's bringing. Right, he is following through on all of his campaign promises. People wanted border security. People wanted the deportation of violent criminals. They wanted to protect our young people. They want to stop the fentanyl pouring into our streets, and they want to really help combat inflation. And President Trump is doing all these things. But I really think that the Democrat propaganda machine, they need a boogeyman, right? So they've painted Elon to be this big boogeyman that they can all attack. But what they're not realizing is, look, full transparency, I hope that they continue hitting that, because I think it's a losing message. I think everyone loves Elon, and I think that they appreciate what he did for free speech and purchasing X. But looking at it from an actual political perspective, and then also seeing what Doge has done, what President Trump has done, Elon's not breaking any rules. An oversight, they just tried to subpoena him. They didn't want to do anything when Garland ignored a subpoena. In fact, every single Democrat voted against that inherent contempt vote that I brought to the floor. So again, this is just them losing. They're grasping at straws. They're trying to paint a boogeyman, but they have to be careful with the rhetoric, because as we saw with President Trump, people will get violent. And someone tried to, assassinate President Trump not just once but twice. Yeah. And so if they're making calls of violence, they also should be held accountable.
Yeah, that's right. It's such a great point. Like, didn't they just indict Trump in D.C. for calls to violence? And now there's a new sheriff in town. Let's talk very quickly here, Congresswoman, about the FBI, the CIA, oversight that you've obviously done and hit brick walls up against the FBI and CIA. Now there's massive purges going on inside of those organizations. This is necessary. And can you explain what the buyouts are for? So everyone at the CIA gets a resignation letter yesterday. Lots of how's that going? Lots of FBI agents effectively being fired right now, and maybe more to come, with 5,000 involved in January 6th. What a shakeup.
Well, look, the whole, I think, goal and objective of what initially the CIA was established to do and the FBI was established to do has become perverted over not just one administration, but many administrations, right? And so they're not even anymore focusing on going after terrorists. They became weaponized against the American people. Remember, they were going after people that were attending church because they were pro-lifers. They were going after people that were peacefully protesting out front of pro-life clinics. That should not be the scope and the objective of the FBI or the CIA. And frankly, what we're seeing is President Trump came in and has seen that, there has been absolute indoctrination of some of these agents, and more, instead of focusing on tackling crime, tackling terrorism, pushing of an ideology and weaponizing them against the American people, almost like you would see a secret police do. And that's really, I think, what they were becoming. And so what President Trump has done, what the administration has done, and really what the new director of the CIA has done and the new director of the FBI has done, is they're taking the politics out of what those organizations are supposed to be. And that's how it should be. Justice is blind, if you will. And so really what they've offered is these people at the agencies the opportunity to basically leave, basically receive funding in order to do so, and carry on with what they want to do, but it's not going to be in the federal government if they are going to be continuing to be engaged in a weaponized system. That's not going to stand anymore. And so I support what the administration is doing. I've talked to many agents that have done incredible things, to include obviously investigating things that I believe saved my life. But look, at the end of the day, everyone has stated that it has become political, that it's more focused on DEI instead of crime solving, that it's more focused on going after the American people because they might have a flag out front of their house that says, appeal to heaven, which was that very historical flag that General George Washington had during the Revolutionary War. And so, again, I look forward to these purges happening. I think that it needed to happen a while ago, but I actually just posted a meme, Benny, and as you're seeing with what we are uncovering, the laundering operation of tax dollars under USAID that was funding the CIA's dirty work. I mean, these were things that, to Eli Crane's credit and Representative Gates' credit, back in the 118th Congress, they were fighting. They're trying to expose, and our own body fought against that. So we have a lot of work to do, but it helps having the 800-pound gorilla and the 800 other pound gorilla in Doge. So we're happy.
Here's the meme: USAID, my tax dollars, somehow also my tax dollars. So this is a story that's broken and going completely thermonuclear. The Politico funding from USAID, but not just Politico, the BBC. Why are we funding the BBC? New York Times. This seems like prima facie political corruption. Mm-hmm. Now my inbox is filled, Congresswoman, with people sources coming to me being like, this Politico reporter, they were literally on the government payroll. Their job was to bury stories at the Department of Transportation to protect Pete Buttigieg, to publish, there was paid propaganda. I'm getting people coming to me from inside of the federal government saying, no, you don't understand. These Politico reporters were PR agents. that the federal government was paying for to protect Joe Biden. And what you can see here is the exponential increase in Politico funding as soon as they published the Hunter Biden laptop psyop on the American people to rig the election. Look at this. The federal government didn't fund Politico at all. They got pennies. And then as soon as they published that to rig the election in 2020, Politico just get this this massive fire hydrant of federal funding. It sure seems shady, Congresswoman.
It's extremely shady, but again, I think that a lot of the people who have worked as independent journalists have realized this about legacy media early on. I don't think that they realized how bad it became under the Biden administration, just this dragnet of control, and then using our taxpayer dollars to really suppress free speech. But it doesn't just stop there, Benny. I mean, this was also happening with taxpayer dollars. I mean, remember the Yoel Roth clip from Oversight last cycle? We uncovered that the Department of Homeland Security was working with CISA. They're doing the same thing, joint state actors. I mean, this stuff was all illegal activity, but if you don't have people in office who are willing to fight that, put forward the legislation, and you don't have the executive branch to actually codify that legislation, we end up in these positions. So, I mean, frankly, look, everyone knows that the media and the intelligence agencies have always had a friendly relationship. This is blatant evidence of it. For those people that are going forward and exposing it with the platform, I do believe that what Elon Musk is doing, he's doing at the risk of potentially his own life. And you're seeing people make threats, you're seeing people come forward, but this is not just something that goes away and everyone says, okay, you won, that's it, it's over. These are, I think, have been taking place for decades, operations to suppress information to the American people. And that's how you end up with, the assassinations that take place previously that are going to be coming to light here with the declassifications in the next coming weeks. So it's an interesting time to be in politics, but we wouldn't have this opportunity to really correct and stop a lot of the rot affecting our country if we didn't have President Trump at the helm leading our efforts. So
interesting that you bring up assassinations, because yesterday we spent an hour with Mike Benz, and he was detailing how USAID is used to destabilize, assassinate, and do regime changes and coups around the world, and how this is really just a CIA cutout. Do you agree with that contention? What's your experience with USAID?
Yeah, so my first experience with the USAID was actually, I was meeting with some foreign governments several years back when I first got elected, and I had gone to a few locations, and I had actually picked up, because they had brought up the USAID funding. And that's when I first was like, this is kind of interesting. Who controls that pot of money? I'm now sitting on the House Foreign Affairs Committee head up by Representative Brian Mast. And so I know that we'll be tackling that head on as it's our jurisdiction. And then as we know, Rubio's also stated that he's going to back that as well. But what I will say is I think what Elon Musk is doing is dangerous. And I think that people need to understand that he's not just out here trolling people on the internet. I mean, when you go up against that type of consolidated power and operation, you're talking about, Mike Benz being up here talking about destabilizing countries. Those are very powerful people. And so to his credit, I think that he needs to continue. I think that these arms and the propagandas that have been used to smear and destroy people's reputations, their families, everything, as pressure campaigns to get them to fall in line, that's been launched by the legacy media. Well, now we know who is funding it.
Wow. So you've now brought this up twice, Congresswoman. Do you think that Elon Musk's life is in danger, in jeopardy? Should Elon Musk get Secret Service protection?
I think that he has probably security in place. I mean, you don't get to that position with being stupid. So I definitely think that he's probably taking the necessary steps. But again, people, it might be on X and it might seem like something like maybe just a tweet, a post. But when you're putting out that type of information that's literally blowing the lid off of, again, I would say just a rotten to the core money laundering operation that's impacted and influenced nations falling. I think that's pretty, you have to have a big set of balls to do that. So
yep,
you can say that.
Also, you're the Congresswoman. Okay, so you are the Congresswoman. Can you please give us the state of the other side of the aisle? I mean, obviously some of these people that are having these hysterical meltdowns. Like, are they okay? Like, do we need to do a collection at church for like therapists for them, or SSRIs? Like, they need extra Xanax filled? Like like in the greater overall scheme of things, all the reports say that they're not doing well like the Democrats.
No, and I think that there's a lot of Democrats, though, that are saying, well, our money shouldn't be going to these operations. But again, they're trying to consolidate the message. But where these people would typically have the mouthpieces of, I would even argue, CNN, we know that CNN's seen kind of a shift in their messaging. They're not getting the overhead support that they typically would get, and so it's falling flat because I think the American people have knowledge, and knowledge is truly power. And that's done through social media, through free press, journalists like yourself. And as we know, the White House now opening up to the free press, the Pentagon now opening up to the free press, even Congress opening up to the free press. That is really changing the state of things. So, I mean, look, these people, if they are so obsessed with Elon Musk, I would definitely think that they need to talk to someone, because I don't sit on my phone all day long and think about what Elon's doing. I'm actually trying to do my job, best represent Pinellas County and the American people. But it's like you get dragged into these discussions because they're so obsessed. Like, I guarantee I'm gonna have to walk back to the committee because they're probably gonna try to do something crazy again, like maybe subpoena Elon Musk's, ex-wife, twice removed second cousin. Like, we don't know. These people are just unhinged. So we'll be here for the fight, but definitely not what I expected, especially out of them.
Elon derangement syndrome. Listen, we focus quite a bit on George Soros. He's another rich guy that plays in politics, but it's totally different. George Soros is very like dark and evil and tries to do things in the shadows. Like Elon's transparent.
And
he's funny, and he's like likable, and he's posting memes, and he's like doing it for the public good, and he's doing it, and he's bringing this all out in the open. I think it's the easiest win ever for Democrats. We started the show off saying this is the easiest win ever. Democrats should just say, yeah, there's a big appetite to cut the federal government. We're going to join with Republicans on some common sense cuts, and like say, yeah, okay, we're down with that. But like they're off a cliff, and I love it. It's delicious.
They are, and I also think that this goes into the bigger discussion. Like, we know that a lot of these very radical, I would say, not even Democrats, but like progressive leftists, if you look at actually how they were elected, it's because these carve-outs were created in some of these states with the gerrymander, and they're actually drawn into these very blue areas. So I would argue that ideology is not even what truly represents what some of these blue dog Democrats are seeing. And they actually know that within their own party, there's a massive faction and a split. Look, Republicans, we might not get along, but like at a certain point, we're not going to be advocating for just like a total destruction of the United States.
Yes.
These people, not so much. And so you're seeing kind of this, I think they're just stuck in groupthink bubble, and they don't truly understand what the American people want. And right now, the American people wanted peace in the Middle East. In fact, both Jews and Muslims endorsed Trump prior to his election. Trump comes up with a deal, and they're melting down over it. It's just like, it's the wildest thing to watch. And so I'll just continue to talk to normal people and people not in Washington and do my job. But I mean, my goodness, you would think that these people have something better to do than focus on Elon.
You touched on something that is going to lead me to something I'm very excited to talk about, which is your big announcement, and as much as you can tell us about it on the show. But you touched on something that's very interesting, which is revealing where this money actually is going, because they've been hiding it, and clearly USAID was the Golden Goose and was the funder of all of these like astroturfed left-wing movements and causes. All these protesters that seem like it's their permanent job to go protest. Yeah, they're getting paid. They're getting paid by you and me. Like all these idiots with the clipboards, right, at the mall. Like all those people are getting paid by us. Mm-hmm. And it's this giant, massive money laundering operation. You go look into Bill Kristol and where he gets his funding. It's all fake. It's not real.
It's infuriating, but it's also actually deeply saddening, because if you realize what good we could have done as a country, not just for our own people, but I think on the world stage, if we didn't have, it's corruption, Benny. Yes. If the corruption didn't exist to the magnitude that it did, think about what that money could have gone to, right? Like we talk about, and like, I didn't want to get into the student loan issue, but like, just think about that for a minute. All this money going to foreign governments, going to regime changes, going to funding things that I would argue are perverted. Think about what we could have done for the education system and the American people. Think about what we could have done for people suffering here in this country, homeless veterans, people that are coming back, in the name of fighting for the United States, coming back with actual physical and mental traumas. And then they're just kicked to the curb by the previous administration. I mean, this is just, it's unacceptable. And so you see that, and I'm glad it's happening, but it's also hard to watch because you realize that for so long, the American people were so innocent and trusting of their elected officials, and then you see what's actually happening.
Such a great point. Okay, so in this, so how do you regain trust? Something that is near and dear to your heart, because you're young, and because you're a young mother and you're raising children. You want, presumably, you want to trust your government. You want to trust federal law enforcement. And I assume this has something to do with your massive announcement that you teased earlier in the week, where you said, "I'm going to do something that will change the face of the American government forever." Here's the exact language of your post that went thermonuclear. "I have an announcement next week that will impact the entire nation. Press conference to be announced soon." Everyone's wondering if it's aliens, but maybe it goes even deeper than that. Congresswoman, can you tell us?
I think it's bigger than that. I think, without getting too much into the details, and the date will be posted soon. You'll find that date for the press conference. I'd actually encourage everyone to tune in, and we're going to be opening it up, if we can, to some independent journalists as well. But I think that for far too long, people have been lied to by their government, and I think the way that you regain trust and you really help restore the nation, and I think bring back not just, I think, hope, but also, and remember, hope is contagious, but you really help it to secure it for future generations. I think that you have to have a fully transparent government. And so I won't get too much more into the details, but we're going to be doing something really big. So I am happy that I was entrusted with this, and I'm going to be doing some good stuff with some incredible people, and I'll leave it at that.
Wow. Okay, so the obvious follow-up question there is, if you're talking about transparency with the American people into their government, Kash Patel on this program months ago saying it's time for a government declassification office. Is it going to be something like that, where we'll be able to actually not have any more state secrets, something like that?
I will wait till the press conference, but what I will say is that, the Senate has a job to do. They would do right by the American people and do right by, I think, themselves if they don't block the confirmations of RFK, Tulsi, and Kash Patel.
Yes.
And we'll just leave it at that.
Okay, all right. So more transparency. You need that in any trusting relationship. It's actually an abusive relationship if you keep something from your spouse. If you're secretly hiding and going around behind their back, like, that's seen as an abusive relationship by everyone.
I was talking to someone last night, and they brought up a great point. And when we fought for independence from the King of England, right? We ultimately said that we are a sovereign as an individual, that the individual U.S. citizen has the exact same rights as you do, and we don't answer to you. Our freedoms come from God inherently. That is such a powerful concept. And so when you have people in government, when you have offices, when you have departments, an entire system that's stacked and then creates a system that operates in secrecy, that in itself, Benny, is not a truly free country. And so JFK was right. A lot of people who have come before me, there are a lot of people in office now, a lot of people who've come before me, Democrats even, fought for that. And so why would we allow this type of behavior to keep? We have 2 years to change the country for, I think, arguably generations to come. So why would we not take that opportunity?
Can you just really quickly here, when you say JFK was right, can you expand on that?
Just in his speech that he gave on secrets. You can't operate in secrets.
Yes. Boy, JFK found out the old-fashioned way that there are some major powers that you cannot run up against. Donald Trump damn near found that out as well on the campaign
Donald
trail.
Trump, and to what I was saying earlier, Elon is doing that. And so, yeah, Elon might be the rocket man, but he's also doing some great things that I think people don't fully understand the magnitude of what it is. And so I would just argue that people understand what he's doing.
Yes. Okay, so in closing here, Congresswoman, based on this announcement and everything that you're doing, I mean, it really does seem like I've woken up in a different country, actually, than the country I've lived in for the last 30 years. And it's really exciting. And I don't think that there's anyone who can stop this campaign of shock and awe. Also, Donald Trump's gotten rid of all the lawfare money, right, by stopping USAID, like, by cutting off the money train.
But it's so precise in everything. Like, it's been planned, and it's being flawlessly executed in a way that you cannot. I mean, like, it's flawless. It's actually quite impressive to watch.
It is. So your outgoing message to resistance libs, that might be burrowed inside the government, like what FBI agents that ran down J6ers. What's your message to them?
If you did do that, you should probably quit. But aside from that, that sometimes when you, for example, if you have a baby that's sick and you know the medicine is going to help that baby and the baby doesn't want to take the medicine, you have to figure out different ways to give the baby the medicine, and ultimately the baby takes the medicine and gets better. This is medicine.
Yeah. Strong medicine, Congresswoman.
Strong medicine.
We look forward to a dose of that with your announcement. You have us on pins and needles. Congresswoman.
Thanks,
everyone
Benny.
follow the Congresswoman, please. Right here, 262,000 Americans make freedom fighters strong. See ya.
Thank you.
Oh man. What a time to be alive. I think I know what it is. What is she going to announce? I think, this is my guess. I don't know. I haven't, called her and, you tell me right now. I haven't called her and done that. I think I know what it is. I think it's a declassification. I think it's going to be like a declassification office, obviously. I think they're going to have, with congressional authority, the power to fully declassify out of these little skiffs, the intelligence agencies go set up these little trailers in the Capitol building where members of Congress are allowed to go in and see these documents, but they're all blacked out, right? You can't read any of it. It's secrecy from our elected officials. It's utterly, all of it is, of course, must be illegal. Okay, it has to be. I think that's what she's gonna do. That's what I believe. I think that's what the Congresswoman's gonna do. We'll wait and see. But Kash Patel's been on our show talking about a 24-hour declassification office. Maybe the Congresswoman is going to just start a tip line or hotline where you can request declassifications from the federal government. That's what I think. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? I also think that we're live a lot. We're in the studio a lot. We are working our tails off to ensure that you get all of your news. We're also working our tails off to make sure that America is healthy again. That's why we're partnering with Brick House Nutrition and Field of Greens to ensure that we stay healthy. As we cover these RFK hearings, it would be incorrect for us to do so by dousing ourselves in seed oils. No, ladies and gentlemen, Democrats have spent years forcing mandates and dictating how we manage our health. Now, they're pushing back over our ability to take control over our own health. This is what all of the resistance to RFK is about. Elon Musk, I'm telling you, the power of being able to go in with X and out these people like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and say, no, you are the number one recipient of big pharma dollars, big health dollars. You're the number one recipient. It's freaking them out, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we stay locked in with Field of Greens. It's how I've reclaimed my health. We all know that eating healthy is key to staying fit. Ladies and gentlemen, I get my fruits and vegetables sometimes on the fly, and I do it with Field of Greens. They make it super easy. Whole fruits and vegetables, and that's it. That's all that exists. Inside of this product, you are going to have healthier life. That's why they have their health guarantee, or your money back. Okay? So join me today. I got you a 20% discount. Get you started. Go to fieldofgreens.com and use the code Benny. Fieldofgreens.com, code Benny. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, talk about a dose of strong medicine. Holy smokes. President Trump saying that the United States is going to take over Gaza. We own it. Whoa. No one was planning on that happening. Do I love it or do I lump it? I don't know. A lot of people are split on it, but I'm telling you, this is not Trump of 2016. Trust the plan. I'm in the trust the plan stage of Donald Trump. This is the trust the plan stage of Donald Trump. Do I think it's wise to have sovereign American territory in the Middle East? I think we've tried that before. It didn't work out great, but Gaza is Israel, right? So Gaza is Israel. It's not Gaza. It's not like some independent state. It's an F around find out area, and it's been bickered over for, I don't know, hundreds of years, thousands of years. And so Trump's just saying, like, no, like with two kids fighting, I'm just going to take it from both of you. And Trump says, we will take it over and we will own it and we will develop it and we'll make it the United States. Here we go. Here's what Trump said.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Donald Trump National Security Advisor Mike Waltz out today on the White House lawn saying that the purpose of this is the art of the deal. We're going to Trump proposes something so extreme, the United States just taking over a hunk of the Middle East. He proposes something so extreme that it forces both sides to the table to come to what now seems like a reasonable option, which is the Palestinians there, the Arabs who are living in that strip of land, being moved to Saudi Arabia or to Iraq or Jordan or something like that. Here we go.
I mean, you have literally nearly 2 million people living in a place that has thousands and thousands of unexploded ordnance and bombs. It's in some places like a minefield. You have buildings that are collapsing and unsafe. You have no sewage, no running water. It has become completely unlivable with this war that Hamas started on October 7th. And I, as a veteran, can tell you it is despicable and sad that groups like Hamas, Al-Qaeda, ISIS literally sacrifice the lives and the livelihoods of their own people to achieve some type of ideological gain. But I think what the president is just acknowledging is we've been looking at this over the last weeks and months, and frankly, he's been thinking about it since October 7th, and that war is, you know, everybody's heart breaks for the Palestinian people across the region, and rightly so, but he's not seeing any realistic solutions on how those miles and miles and miles of debris are going to be cleared, how those, you know, essentially unexploded bombs are going to be removed, how these people are physically going to live for the at least a decade, if not longer, it's going to take to do this. So
the entire Israel-Palestine thing has always been about creating an agitation point against the state of Israel and a friction point and it's been a false conflict. And as we have stated time and time again on this program, I don't want war. I want peace. This conflict, of course, is age old. The vast majority of the Middle East, in fact, the 99% of the Middle East is Arab nations. Some of them forced, like some of them, like, you're not even allowed to be anything other than a Muslim in these countries. So why won't they take the Palestinian people? Why not just end it, right? Like, why not just end it? I get it, and I wouldn't want a terror cell living on my border either, right? And that goes both ways, okay? Like, it's gonna be better for these people, actually. So I'm for peace. I'm for peace with Russia and Ukraine. China, I don't want war with them either. I don't want war with these people. War's always a net negative, and there's this final thing I'll say on this is this idea, especially when you retell history falsely, that war is the side of the angels versus the demons. And what you find out the older you get is that actually both sides are just kind of like devils. Both sides are demons in war. And the best that you can possibly do, the most moral stance, is to end wars, to stop wars from before they start or after they start, and just be done with it. And sometimes there's no such thing. There's an ugly peace. Ugly peace is better than a hot war. And this will be an ugly peace. It'll be an ugly peace in Ukraine. It'll be an ugly peace in Israel. It'll be ugly Probably both sides will be unhappy, but this is what you should want. You should want the killing to stop. That's what we want on this program. We want the killing to stop. That's why we're very happy to leave you with this exciting piece of news that Donald Trump's first military flights have landed in Guantanamo Bay. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The first military flight transporting migrants to Guantanamo Bay detention camp from El Paso, Texas, for the Department of Homeland Security departed Briggs Army Air Force Base on Tuesday. The camp in Cuba is currently undergoing modifications to allow 30,000 criminal aliens to be held in Guantanamo Bay. Not a fun place to live. Very bad place to live. Here's some of the images here. Broadcast them loud and proud. If you come to America and you are a criminal alien, then you are going to go to Club Gitmo. Do you understand? Do you understand me? This is all like, there are millions of criminal aliens in this country. They all need to go home, okay? The crime rate among criminal aliens is 100% because they all broke the law to come here. So they're all criminals. They must all go back. But this is an incredible deterrent. Like, who's getting in their pickup truck and driving freaking back right now when they see this? Wait, life in Guatemala is better than life in Gitmo. I can promise you that. Especially when you have some stolen American wages in your back pocket. So, leave. And this is what the government's saying. This is the choice that the government's giving. I think it's genius. It's called a deterrence, is what you would call this in any type of business deal or strategic play. So, ladies and gentlemen, well done. A lot of wisdom in the Trump administration. Must have been reading Proverbs, our verse of the day, from the wise book of Proverbs. Let's dive in for some wisdom here. A wicked man hardens his face, but an upright man gives thought to his ways. Wow, there's been a lot of change in the country. We've had to rethink quite a bit, and we want to be wise. It's one of these things that we pray for on a regular basis. Literally pray for on my knees, it's something that you can ask for. Wisdom, please. We want to be able to inform. We want to be able to bring about a better world. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to be the upright man who gives thoughts to his ways. And so thank you for joining us in all of that. You can, of course, subscribe to the channel. That's the #1 way you can support us. If you wish to go to BennyJohnson.com and become a member of the Benny Brigade, that would be awesome as well. It helps support our journalism and the work that we do here as we go out into the world and try and fix this disaster and this mess. And we promise you this: we will not lose our energy. We'll keep it up. It's been a wild first start. I don't know how these people in the White House do it, but we are going to match that energy. We're going to be your front seat to the golden era here in America. And we have so many exciting things planned. We do it for you. We do it because we love you and we love the chat. There'll be a White House press briefing later today that we'll be live for. We're going to track it. It's going to be within the hour. But ladies and gentlemen, the golden era is here, and it's so special to be on this journey together. We freaking love you. Shout out the chat. It's your boy Benny. See ya.
The jackals, hyenas, they're barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is.
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you not?
Yes.
You're sheltering them underneath your floorboards, aren't you?
Yes.
Point out to me the areas where they're hiding.
Hey! Guess what day? Guess what? Guess what? The times they are changed as we plunder USAID. A treasure returned to you from the deep state piggy bank. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Everything will be okay. Guess what day? What day it is? It's hump day. Get it on. Hump day. Woo! Woo! Woo!
The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest kings, and their dying legacy, media deal weeds. Soon will the Benny Show come to mind the salt from Lives for Fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. Show come to mind the salt from Lives for Fun. Leave the gold and bring the gun. We sail for number one. The biggest ships in the sea, all owned by the oldest king.